breeze blowing, storm clouds moving in. Whatever's gonna happen, it's about to begin. I remember what the drunk donkey told me when he said, son, don't fear. Mike's where the page lies, it's about to begin. Then he's gonna tell you about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you which way it's going, if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news that they try to hide. Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. There'll always be some haters, but they don't understand that Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend Mike, he's your man. Then he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here at Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation Pride.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning. We are live. It's Friday. TGIF for some, as we still obviously dealing with Hurricane Ian here in Florida. But it is Friday, so we made it to the week. I hope that you have some big plans tonight. This weather is amazing. I don't know how this cold air has just hung around for so long. It's just not normal. It's not in Florida. We hit 59 again today. I'm not really sure what's going on. But yeah, good to see everybody. Welcome to our little chat. This is our Daily Brew. We talk about the weather. We talk about dogs. We talk about coffee, beer. Talk to all the kids out there. Make sure you do your homework. Don't lie to your parents. Don't say you did your homework and you didn't. We will find out, Emily. Good morning, Shelly Ross, Miss Sheila. Yo ho, how's it going? Mike E, bonfire and whiskey weather. Oh my God, you are my man. If I wasn't married, I'd hook up with you. A guy date. Drinking, well, I still could. It doesn't matter. I'd do it anyways. But that's my kind of night, man. Whiskey and fire. Oh, man. Ann says, who cares? We deserve cool weather. That's right. What's up, Becky? What's up, Julie from Port Charlotte? Oh, you're right down there. What's up, Richard Sanford? Western North Carolina, Kathy. It's going to be chilly for you this weekend. Delirious Tories. Hey, good morning. I hope I said you're right. What's up there, Chris Hargis? Taking the old camper back today. I did an oil change and a filter. Troy Brown from Alabama. Bill Barber, good morning. Mike Soul, down there in the heart of this thing. Oh, man. Yeah, power's slowly going back. I took another trip down to Ground Zero yesterday. And got some video to show here in a little bit. New Smyrna Beach, holy moly. Terry Dallas, you all are dealing with some serious flooding over there. Not getting talked about enough. Lots of people flooded over in Daytona, New Smyrna Beach. Bad. What do you think, Louie? So anyway, what is a Daily Brew? Well, it's just Mike here. I'm not real meteorologist. I'm a fake meteorologist. Like to thank all of our new followers. We unfortunately we gained a lot of followers during these big storms, but we're up to almost 1.4 million now on Facebook, which is wild. I got 110 on TikTok, 1,000, almost 100 on Twitter now, over 100 on Instagram. So we're up to over 2 million followers now, which is pretty awesome. And I'm sure there's a few bots in there, but everybody's got bots, right? Bot. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like that at all. He's like, do it again, Dad. I'm going to get you. All right. So let's talk about the weather. I got some videos I want to show everybody, so stick around. I'm going to do the weather first. What are you thinking, little buddy? What are you doing, little buddy? What are you doing? Oh, man. All right, so here's the deal. What's cooking? Well, let's see what else can we talk about. Well, obviously it's Friday, so we got to do a huge shout-out. The hugest shout-out of the week goes to our good friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Found out so many of the employees follow us, all their big dogs in the corporate world, so big thanks. They trust us. They sponsor me and the page. We really appreciate it. So it is Friday, so if you got an ABC, there's a lot of ABC Fine Wine and Spirits down there in the Fort Myers area. I saw them everywhere. I'm not sure they're all open or not, but if they are, make sure you support them because their employees are dealing with the hurricane too. So we are all affected by this storm one way or another. And one way to get through it, of course, is visiting ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. And they have a nice selection of chips and salsa and ice, bags of ice and Coca-Cola. They have a lot of stuff. Oh, man. All right, let's talk about what's cooking in the world. We'll talk weather, then I got some really important video I want to show you. What's up, Loretta Reed? Good morning. Little worry you're taking the cues of Western Caribbean. Well, right now there's nothing to worry about anywhere except Central America. Thank you, Loretta Stevens. That's nice of you. Alexis, appreciate that. Vivid, ABC is cool. Gail, I think our beer's done. We had a great run, but it ended. And we did great things. 80 barrels, I think I heard. I don't know. But there'll be another. Julia's coming. All right, so this is Tropical Depression 13. It's a very low rider. Very odd to see one riding this low. Went through the ABC Islands as a rainmaker. There is a tropical storm warning there. Colombia. I mean, come on, right? Anybody watch Escobar? That was like the last series I've ever watched. I love Escobar. So it's going to enter a window here of opportunity. There's definitely favorable conditions to develop. It's expected to be a hurricane. NHC has it as an 85-mile-an-hour hurricane as it nears Nicaragua. And how do you say Nicaragua? Is it Nicaragua? I always just say Central America. I don't like to butcher names, but it is going to be a hurricane. And there are some models, the H-Wharf showing it down in the 960 range. So we got to worry about some rapid intensification down here on approach. Timing is this weekend. So yeah, it's coming tomorrow and Sunday. So it's going to be there. It's a fast mover, moving 15 miles an hour. So we got to worry about that. What do we got to worry about after that is the big question mark. So let's go to tropicaltidbits.com here. These are your latest 12Z spaghetti models. I had a guy tell me that I shouldn't share spaghetti models, and I'm like, well, I've been doing it. What do I do then? I'd be like Escobar sitting on the bench. I'd be like Forrest when the little Forrest went to school. I'd be sitting there like, what do I do now? I've always liked spaghetti models. Nicaragua. All right, we got a Nicaragua. There you go. Nicaragua. Everybody say it together. Shelly, of course, Nike. So I can't even read those pronunciations, Shelly. I see Nike. I messed up Raleigh Durham. Hey, I'm not picking on you, Central America. I butcher every name. Trust me. It doesn't matter. What city, what town, Mike's going to butcher a name. So here's what we got down the road. All right, so this thing, we got a cold front coming down next week. There's nothing to worry about if you're in the States right now. Nothing to worry about, okay? Trust me, right now, nothing raises my attention or anybody else's attention, except we talk about potential systems, right? That's all right now. So don't get all worked up right now if you're living in the United States, coastal United States, CONUS. Still can't figure that word out. CONUS. All I see is Beavis and Butthead. I'm Cornholio. Oh, I think Shelly just sent me pronunciation. Did she? Yep, she did. Shelly's always sending me stuff. Here.
Nicaragua.
That sounds so good. All right, I'll just do it like this.
Nicaragua.
Okay, listen, ready? Here we do it again. I don't know how to do it again. Oh, well. So it does appear we could have a potentially strong hurricane. NHC's around 85 mile an hour, but that little window right before landfall is always questionable because they show it, hours before. So there is a chance this thing can ramp up into a stronger category, stronger than a category 1. And of course, we're talking about a landfall in
Nicaragua.
There you go. That's what I'll do from now on. I'll just have the audio ready to play and I won't butcher names. All right, so down the road, there is a cold front coming next week. Middle of next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's a cold front coming. And it's going to potentially lift our system up into the bay here. A lot of the models are having it come up, bounce, and come back, blocking a little bit. But we are seeing more pull into the bay, so that, just throwing it out there, not worried about anything yet. It's a long way away. The cold front you can see here, we'll show you in a second. This is on Tropical Tidbits, by the way. We always use tropicaltidbits.com. You can see all of the links there really easy on my site to go to his site. So we're seeing intensity models obviously show a chance here of a strong category 1 plus hurricane. Actually, no, they're showing 2. So, but the H-Wharf is showing it. I got to talk about the H-Wharf, but it could be a stronger than a category 1. It obviously goes across land, and then you start to see this little uptick here, a little bit of intensity. Not a lot, but then you see a downtick too. So there is going to be a lot of wind shear in the Gulf next week with that approaching front. So chances are small, but I'm already seeing people chattering about it, so I feel like I need to talk about it more. Some of your, here's the latest look on Weather Nerds, by the way. This is what it looks like. It's looking healthy. It would be Julia. Julia would be the next name on the list. It looks pretty decent. It's getting, it's fixing to go over water here and gain some spinach over those hot Caribbean waters. I didn't even look at this, but I guarantee we'll see some spinach. Yep, there's spinach. So very well defined. Should be Julia today, maybe 11 o'clock. Got, a dog snoring loud today. There's 700 millibars, so it's kind of stacked a little bit. 800, not too far off. So it's decent. Decent. Let's show you some of the latest ensembles and just kind of show you, there's some of my video I'm going to show you in a little bit as the dog really starting to get loud now, man. It's like he started out as a tropical storm snoring dog, and now he's a hurricane dog. All right, so here's the latest ensembles on weathernerds.org. Levi also has a different way to look at ensembles too, but these are always interesting. Hey man, he's getting loud. This is a koozie time. I gotta throw. Oh, by the way, he stopped for a second. So before we get into this, now that everybody's watching, huge surprise this week. Okay, the Grumpy Woodworker. His name's Michael Lang. Check it out. Sent me, and they have a website, I believe, grumpywoodworker.com. Grumpywoodworker.com. Check this out. This is going on the new studio walls next season, but my goodness, I can't even fit it into the frame. It is the most beautiful piece of wood. I don't know if it'll show or not, but look at that. I can just start. So obviously it's a flag. It's got the website, but it's got the logo. I can't even see if it's showing up or not. Look at that huge logo. It's awesome. It's actually, it's the size is 4. No, it's not 4x80. Cut it. So it's probably a good 18 by 36. I don't know, but man, that was so thoughtful. It's huge. It's varnished. It's beautiful wood. Wood cut. It's going to be beautiful hanging on the walls. So huge thanks to them. It was a really pleasant surprise to get that. So thank you, sir. I meant to show that yesterday, but I forgot. So that was nice. Thank you so much. It was always and they're from Daytona, I believe. So yeah. So that was cool. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Michael. I love the flag on it. It looks good. It was beautiful. It was. It's like dark wood, varnished. One day I'm going to have a studio, and that I'm collecting some awesome stuff, man. I'm going to have a cool wall of stuff with wood. I got wood. Michael gave me wood. Literally. All right, so here's the oh my goodness. Here's the European ensembles. Notice there's 2 out of 51, okay? But I've seen it being shared now. So I'm talking about it. I did want, 2 or 3 days ago, I mentioned it in our little brew crew, hey, here's a possibility, this pop, now they're popping up. But notice there's still a whole bunch of ensembles going into the Pacific too. So there's nothing solid yet. But I did want to mention it, so there you go. We're going to watch the progression. Every run for 3 days now, there's been 1 or 2. So there hasn't been any more confidence on anything coming out of this and shooting off into the Gulf of Mexico. So right now it's very low chances. But, historically, I like history. Learning more about history and learning more about models and the models that perform better than other models. And, if we go to October 1st through 10th here, there has been some over the years pop into the bay. So this doesn't guarantee anything. It's just letting you know. It's got to go through a lot of land, a lot of land. So that's it. This low chance, but it's happened before. Just put it out there. The other models here we can look at. We're going to look at all the individual runs. So the GFS ensembles, we know what we think about GFS. But anyway, there is one on the GFS too. So there's 3 out of 82 models. What's that percentage chances? 3 out of 83. Very low chances. As far as individual model runs go, we can take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. TropicalTidbits.com. Show you what we got. Let's zoom in here and kind of give you a feeling that this is definitely heading west. Here's the latest Euro. It's showing a developing system 1002, 1, 998, 996, 993. So there you go, hurricane. And the main operational run slides it through the Pacific. Maybe a little bit of energy pulls up into the bay. There's a front coming down midweek next week. Some of those remnants get pulled upwards. Maybe tries to get going. See 1008. That's next Saturday, 8 days from now. But you get the idea. I mean, just casually watching it. All right, here's the latest Euro. Was that one? Let's take a look at the latest Canadian model. 987. 980. So that's borderline 2. So you got to watch that. Nicaragua. I said it good. The Canadian pulls it up a little bit of energy into the bay. Frontal boundary comes down midweek next week. Nothing's really left over. There's a little bit pops off over here. So you get the idea. There's a front coming down. Hard for these things to get going with that much wind shear, but definitely watching it. Icon showing a 992 on approach, and it doesn't do anything. So that's it. I don't want to talk about anything else. We can show the GFS, I guess. 980 again, and then it kind of, there's leftover low, 1,004. Then the front comes along and squashes it. It actually pushes it back down. A lot of the models have it coming up here and then coming back down. But anyway. And then the latest H-Wharf really intensifies our system. It brings it in as a 966. That's pretty strong. H-Wharf is a really good model, though, with intensity, and that's something to think about down there. That this could be a little stronger than expected. The H-Mon, the same. So, man, I think this is going to be sneaky. We have really warm ocean heat content down there still. Not as hot as it is above it, but still, decent ocean heat content, which allows these systems to intensify. And you got the warm Gulf Stream. Here's the other thing I wanted to show. I did this on my little YouTube video. Make sure you subscribe over on YouTube. I do these little quickie videos. Sometimes people don't have the patience. I wouldn't have the patience to listen to me, that's for sure. I'd be like, come on, let's get over with. Quit talking about your dogs. But here's the current water temperature. It's 85 in the bay. It's hot. It's 86 down here by Nicaragua. 86, 85. So the water's definitely still warm enough, even though these cool fronts are coming down. So every week that goes by, we're getting closer to the end of the season. Hopefully nothing else pops up. But this is the area we would be watching if anything were to pop up. And then the UK, let's take a look at the old UK, which did very well during Ian. It actually did good with Fiona, too. Fiona. Oh, let's see here. And here is the latest UK. It's decent, 998, and it keeps it going pretty much same thing. So, yeah. Probably not even worth mentioning it, but people are starting to talk about it, so I wanted to bring it up. No threat. If we had a threat level of 1 to 10, it's a 1. Colleen wants an end of the season party. Always good, for sure. What's up, David Berryhill? How's it going, Bill Barber? Yohel. Is it rum and cigar night or Yohel? Shelly got the percentage. There's a 3% chance. Okay, there you go. 3% chance we got something to worry about. Yeah. Well, anyways, good morning there, Bob. Let's see what else is going on. Mary Carol Chapman, good morning. 3.6 Matt says, we got a lot of math people. Mathnasium, don't forget. Mathnasium here in Countryside turned Emily's grade around from an F to a B. So, all you parents with struggling kids in math, as I am, once I got to calculus thinking I was going to be an engineer, I ended up going to marketing. And unfortunately, meteorologists, like if I wanted to be a real meteorologist, I would need to know a lot of math, and that would have been hard on me. I'm not a very good math person. Christy Downs, hey, how's it going in Sebring? Sebring. Hey, Christmas time is coming around, man. Give the old Grumpy a call. All right, so, things are still in recovery mode down here, obviously. Again, I listened to Wink News on the FM dial yesterday, and they had continuous coverage. It was really good. A lot of press conferences. 2 trips down there I made. I'm going to make another one here if I ever get my truck back. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. Chevy's not really interested, probably because they don't want to, liability-wise, maybe. I don't know. But local Dimmitt Chevrolet might be helping me a little bit. I'm not even looking for help. I just wanted to, I want to proudly say I'm sponsored by Chevrolet. That's, some people took it the wrong way on Twitter. I actually deleted some posts because it looked like I was begging Chevy. I'm like, no, I wasn't begging Chevy. I would love, because I grew up a Chevy guy. Matter of fact, the NASCAR fans, we had our logo on a Chevy in Atlanta. Remember Bailey Curry's car? Our logo was on a Chevrolet. I grew up with Chevrolet. Anyway, we'll see about that. All right, so I went down there again yesterday. I had to go back to Rotunda West. That's where I did a lot of my riding out with Phil, and it was probably worse than I could have imagined. I mean, we knew it was going to be bad when we were there. Let me show you some of the videos. This is some of the video leading up to this. This was during the chase. I have to show you a couple things, but I got to show you some videos. Two videos I want to show you from yesterday. But this was the road out of there. I got to look at a map. Obviously, we were trapped. The trees. We tried to go around them. There was just trees down everywhere. We gave up. I had to do a U-turn. Every time we got around a tree, we were like, we made it. And then there's another tree down. So we turned around, went back, and finally cleared all that. And then we went into Rotunda West. And I don't know if you can hear any audio. Audio wasn't the greatest, but it didn't look too bad, right? I mean, a lot of wind and stuff, and we're driving along, and next thing you know, we're starting to see more water, and here's a road going in, totally underwater. This is the road into Rotunda West. And we got into the neighborhood. I mean, it was like, okay, what are we doing here, Phil? So we get into the neighborhood, and you start to see the surge coming in. Obviously, the wind whipping. These are 130, 40 mile an hour wind gusts. These bridges, and then turning into the neighborhood right here. You can kind of see the water. I mean, it's like the water was, when you're looking here, the water was coming in from your right. I mean, it was like this is where that surge came in that I just could not believe. I mean, the wind blowing that water was something like I can't even explain. Watching that surge water come in, how fast the water rose. Then we got trapped. There's a tree there. We start going back, and the thing that stood out was so many people stayed behind. And every one of these houses, it seemed like here's another tree down. So all the roads were impassable. Then I was like, we probably ought to go back to Publix, we had to turn around. But a lot of folks were watching us here. We were on the bridge here. This is where we came in, and it began to be like a little river full of debris. And then we got hit by flying. I didn't know what to do, so we ended up just look at the trees all sideways. I mean, we had a strong wind from my left here. Like I said, we got hit by a bunch of flying debris. Then we ended up just saying, heck with it, let's go. We made it through. There's pool cages down, so we made a run for it, and I went around it, got through it, and had to drive through a lot of water. Made it back to Publix.
Where's our road back?
The road was almost impossible to see. It looks worse now than it did when I was there. So we made it back safely. The old Chevy did good for me. And there you go. So we went back there yesterday. There's a lot of trees down. And we went back to the parking lot safe and sound. All right, so then I went back yesterday. Here is some of the video from yesterday. This is the same roads that I went on. And there's that bridge. And I went ahead and turned down this road. And, of course, it was worse than I could have thought. Shelly, I know. Hey, we made it back, Shelly. But this was bad. I do have an obligation, but I also hey, I grew up in the racing world and NASCAR, and I'm in that high risk uh, high risk livelihood. Not for everybody, that's for sure. And we understand that. But man, the people from Rotunda that have reached out to me now on Twitter and stuff, they're so thankful because obviously the worst damage is from that surge down in Fort Myers and Sanibel area. But I always want to bring awareness to other areas because this is it was about 70 miles driving. I looked it up today. It's almost 40 miles as the crow flies from Fort Myers Beach. So this is literally 40 miles. That was roughly the eye wall. Remember, the eye wall went to about 40 miles wide. This was on the north side of the eye wall, which it looked like on radar that had more winds. I believe it had stronger winds on the northern side of the eye wall than it did on the southern side. And as we get deeper into this Rotunda West, you could Google this Rotunda West, and it's kind of a circle community, but every single house, either roof damage, garage is in, pool cage is gone. I mean, for an area that probably wasn't expecting this much, got a lot, and that was because that eye wall. But these are the images that I used to track storms. Never lived through a storm like this. I mean, we've had a lot of skirts. We never had a direct hit. But until you see this in everybody's yards, and I'm telling you what, Inglewood, every road that you go up and down where Ian hit is like this. I mean, every road. And so if anything, just think about it and what so many people are going through. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, I'm stressing about washing the love bugs off of my camper. I'm like, am I seriously stressing about doing things? And you look at all the work that these people have had to. I mean, look at that. A whole roof's gone there in that house. I mean, just think about that. I mean, this is it's just so sad. So anyway, I did the video. Hit the full things on YouTube. Just every street I went down, it didn't matter. I'm fast forwarding it. You just can't imagine it. Then I also went to another area, and this meant a lot to me. So this was Placida, which is just outside of it. There was a couple mobile home parks, and I get it. They're like, mobile homes in Florida, but it doesn't matter. People live here, and I met an elderly couple that just came back, and it's sad. I mean, a lot of these folks don't have anywhere else to go. So yeah, I get the ones that say, it's a mobile home park. Well, it doesn't matter, man. This is right next to those homes I just showed, and those homes a lot of them were structurally ruined too, from floodwaters and stuff. So don't, I mean, yeah, these mobile homes are not safe, but they're still somebody's home, and that's what you got to think about. There's somebody's parents. That could be your mom and dad. Could be my mom and dad. So this was just shocking to me. And there's a big marina next to it that's completely destroyed. I mean, it's not. I mean, they had some serious winds. This is on the northern eye wall of Ian. This was unheard of in the news. You don't really think about the northern side of the storm and how much wind that they got. It wasn't so much surge as much as it was just wind. I mean, it's like a tornado. I mean, that's how you describe a system like this. Is just a huge tornado. I mean, if we had a local tornado, you'd be like, oh, that's a tornado. Well, this tornado went on for, 50 to 100 square mile radius of almost 100 miles. And I mean, same thing. It didn't matter where you went. You could do this all day long. I mean, every road I went on, every fifth house was leveled. So that's what I did yesterday. I wanted to see where we wrote it out. Just thinking all you folks that are dealing with it, trust me. I think the one thing, the one compliment that I've got a lot, and it does mean a lot, is people took the words that I said seriously as far as the potential And I don't think I could have stressed the potential as much as I did not going through Ida or going to see Laura after Lake Charles 5 months later. I mean, understanding the recovery efforts, those are things a couple years ago I didn't even realize. I didn't realize there was piles of debris on the road like that. I didn't realize that there was thousands of workers that come in to take that trash somewhere, bring the power back, rebuild the whole infrastructure of a city and roads. I mean, there is so much involved. You just don't even imagine. I saw a sewer truck yesterday, and I was like, what are they doing? And I looked, and they were actually cleaning gutters, because gutters get cleaned. There's so many things that go on in a storm that have to be done after. And so my soapbox with this storm, I think, was the intensity level wasn't pushed enough. Maybe, everybody hates when the media hypes. Well, maybe this would have been a time to really let people know, hey, your house is going to be potentially destroyed. We're going to have Katrina-like surge. You're going to need an axe to get out of your roof. You're going to need boats to come rescue you. You're going to be stranded for 6 hours before any help can even get to you. You will be out of power for weeks. I mean, wind damages all the way through the state. I don't think enough emphasis was put on the severity of it. Living in Florida, I think a lot of everybody just cry wolf. You just get tired of being told you're going to get this and you never get it. But man, this thing went to 155 miles an hour before landfall. It expanded. It was 500 miles wide. The eye got, went through an eye wall replacement. There was intense lightning that everybody could see on radar. The hurricane hunters even said it was the most intense lightning they'd ever seen in a storm, and that is a sign of strengthening. So, you look at Hurricane Michael damage or Hurricane Ida damage or Hurricane Laura damage, right? That's going to be the damage here. Katrina damage, Katrina-sized storm. Charlie was a little storm. It was tiny. And yeah, there was areas that had water damage and surge, but bigger the storm, the more water that gets pushed. And there's more effects with the eye wall. So I just saw a lot of downplaying by some Mets. And, it's going to weaken before it hits landfall. It was going to weaken if it was up in the Panhandle. It wasn't going to weaken if it turned and hit, because it was still a major hurricane off the coast of South Florida. I mean, so, the sauce, and if you look at the track history of Ian, they actually nailed it right from the get-go. And then they ended up, started shifting. Here's their first, look at that. Almost exact. Their first advisory, look at that. First advisory almost was exactly the track. So this was a Tropical Depression 9. They were showing a major hurricane almost exactly where it made landfall. I mean, doesn't get any more closer than that. That was Friday. Problem is, everybody focused on that center line, and this is what happened. It started shifting north. It went north of Tampa. Then the center line went to the Big Bend area. Then it went almost into the Panhandle. So, I mean, a lot of people living on the West Coast said, it's going to the Panhandle. I don't know, obviously, the cone. And the big black letters, the cone contains the probable path of the storm, but does not show the size of the storm. Hazardous conditions can occur outside of the cone. I don't think people read that. So, there you go. I mean, it was up, then it started coming back again, I mean, so that was such a swing from there to there to, that was a lot of confusion. I had a lot of friends in the area here over the weekend, the 2 weekends ago, that were like, it shifted west. It's hitting the Panhandle. We're safe. And that's what happened. So I don't know the answer. I do know that the likelihood of a shift here was way higher than here. So, I've been thinking a lot, like what would make the most sense? Do you make a skewed cone? Like, do you make it more like, let's say, like that, but somehow have the center showing, and have colors of like higher probability in red and then maybe green and yellow. But the cone being so wide and every trend was not to Panhandle, it was south. So that left a false impression that there was equal chances it could go to the Panhandle than there was equal chances it could go south. When in reality, there was more models in the south than there were here. So that's what I'm saying. Should they make a color, guidance where, we have red, like that, like that's the trend, and maybe come back with what, yellow, here, yellow here, and then maybe green, here, but still have a cone, like a red, red, yellow, green. Maybe that would be more sense, The red would indicate the likelihood of a shift coming, because every discussion they told you there was going to be another shift coming. So maybe just do the shift instead of waiting 6 hours and do the shift. I don't know. So, but there was a lot of discussion on it. I hate it. I don't like to see controversy, but you live and die by the models, or I always have, that's for sure. You started out the season knowing the GFS was terrible. I mean, we were seeing GFS spit off hurricanes left and right all year long, so you knew the reliability of the GFS was not good. Too much stock was put in that GFS, and it made the cone wide, in my opinion. Unofficial opinion. So anyway. But it sucks. Anytime you have anything bad, there's always going to be, Monday morning quarterbacking. Yeah, there should be maybe an who was that just said that? That was smart. Ryan, that's smart. Maybe they should have an ongoing percentage. Maybe they do. I don't know. It just seemed like the GFS was, and another thing that bugs me too, with the GFS. Let's just say, for example, this is what was happening with the GFS. And this, if you follow me, I love ensembles. So ensembles are 31 average. So let's say you have 31 models, right? And they're all doing this. And then you get one up here. But you have like the majority of them doing that. So then you have one up here. Well, this is what the GFS does. And it did it all year, did it last year. You need to have an average consensus of all your ensembles usually in order to make sense. Well, you would get a main operational run, do this on the main GFS when all the ensembles are over here. It's like that is not the average mean of so there was something going on with the model, obviously. When your average GFS ensembles are way skewed east, but yet your main operational run goes to the north, it tells you there's something wrong. I mean, that makes sense to you. But then you got to look at other things. Like fronts this year have been extremely strong. And we've talked about that all summer. So the fact that they believe that front was going to be disappearing, we've had a front across the upper Gulf the whole freaking year. So the front is strong. Think about it. When Ian passed through, look at all this cold air that came down afterwards. Like, it's been incredible, this front that's pushed through since Ian. I mean, that's the satellite above me right here. Look, there's not a cloud in the sky here in Florida. And it's been that way since Ian. So, yeah, whatever. So, I do need a snorkel, Travis. Yes. So, I think I'm just going to get the engine, chalk it up. Hopefully, they give me a little discount. And hopefully, it lasts. I hate hearing that that year had lifter issues, because now I'm going to be buying. The problem is every single GM part is on back order. So I was in a dilemma back in July when I went and had it looked at. They were like, well, it's covered under warranty, but the problem is you're probably going to be waiting 6 months to a year to get GM factory heads and lifters, because there's a back order. I'm like, well, that's great. So then I'm thinking storm change. All I was worried about in July was, man, what if there's a storm? I got to have my truck. So I'm like, I'm just going to drive it. He said, well, you can put a used engine in, but that's not covered under warranty, you know. So I was like, okay, well, then it started getting bad, and the rest is history. So probably the best thing that happened was get an engine anyways if I'm going to keep a truck, because to find replacement parts is impossible. I mean, rebuilding it would make the most sense, right? But I ain't going to wait. Supply chain issues now, forget about it. So used engine's my best thing, man. And the funny thing is that video, Shelly, I just showed, well, we went into way more water than the end. I think there was other issues with the motor. I really believe the lifter broke, and was the icing on the cake. Icing on the cake. Speaking of cake, it's Julie's birthday. I'm going to post something here in a little bit. I want everybody to go say happy birthday to her. So we're going to do a little birthday party. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to add a snorkel. I'm sure they make them. Chevy Silverado. Did you hear the story too, by the way? So I had a CNN interview. I completely fence walker when it comes to people wanting interviews. I don't care who it is at all. But I did go back to the scene yesterday, and I found my tonneau cover. I can't believe it. Let me find it here. So the tonneau cover blew off, if you remember. Let me pull it up here, see if I can bring it up. So this was the intersection I did my CNN. We were parked in the middle of the intersection. There was about 6 inches of water there. That was when I did my live interview. While we were doing the live interview, my tonneau cover blew off, and it went forever. So I'm walking around yesterday. There's a Walmart there. There it was. So I was like, I'm going to find my tonneau cover. And there it was, piled up. And I don't know if I brought it home. I also lost the lid. Remember the Brew Crew, Shelly? Y'all bought me all those Tupperware things. The lid was right there next to it, right here. Let me see if I can find it. There's the lid. So they must have all floated there together, but there is a hole in it. So that was a funny little story from yesterday. And that area was beat up pretty bad. The produce shop here got really hit hard. This is all in Inglewood. So yeah, I found my cover. I hope it fits. If I keep the truck, it'll mean a lot to put that tonneau cover back on. I don't know how it's going to work, but be interesting. All right, so other than that, so we got no rain. So this weekend we got a little backup front. So if you're living in South Florida, there is a chance we're going to get some rain this weekend coming up. There is the front line that's kind of there now is going to back up to another front, up in the rain chances this weekend. So Saturday looks great for most everybody. There is a little rain chance Sunday down in South Florida. Let me show you that real quick. So here's Saturday. You can start to see the rain backing up here in the South Florida. And then on Sunday, there it is. Little front comes down, pulls up some juice from the other front, and there you go. So there's Sunday rain chances for South Florida. And Monday, too. There's our front that kind of stalls out. Then, of course, our big next front. Holy moly, all kinds of stuff. This is next Thursday, Friday, next week. There's our next big front. So this lingering, we're kind of back. We're kind of back to summertime feel in the South here. There's going to be a lingering front, and the rain chances are just going to increase a little bit throughout the week. There is a big cold blast coming down this weekend. Check this out. This is lingering into Sunday. But there is a big cold blast coming down. We're going to see 30s and into Georgia and Alabama this weekend. And the mountains are going to see low 30s. So that's definitely a cold snap. Another one. Here it is. Here's our Saturday lows. We got 20s and 30s, man, for the Midwest. And there's light blues like in the 40s. But there you go. Here's Sunday morning. We got 30s in Tennessee, across Carolinas. Just like that. Like, where did it come from? Still going to stay about the same for the peninsula, but we're going to have low 50s in the upper Gulf, which is kind of nice. Here you go. Here's Sunday morning. 30s in the mountains, 20s in the upper elevation. 30s for Georgia, 30s in Alabama, 30s in the Mississippi. And then a slow warm-up. This is during the week. This is Thursday. So these are your low temps. So it won't last long, but then by next weekend, there's another one coming in. This is next Saturday. So a little warm-up midweek. Then a front comes in. That'll be the front to kind of watch our little tropical Julia. If it has anything left, it might try to sneak into the Gulf. But there's, very, very little reasons to stress about that right now. There's one or two models saying maybe. So I'm not going to talk about it more. We've been talking about it every morning, but I finally posted it on the page. There's two. 2 out of 51. So that's low chances. But we're going to watch this probability and see. There's going to be a lot of wind shear in the area next week from that front coming down. So go ahead and say about that. Dave Bearhill, thanks, buddy. I'm going to read some comments now. Mark says 34, West Virginia. Almost heaven, West Virginia. Right? Blue Ridge Mountains. Gatlinburg, Richard. I'm jealous. It's not going to be long. I'll be snow chasing in Margaritaville. By the way, my truck's been through 7 named storms, 5 hurricanes, and it's actually went to 2 snow chases. Hey, Chris, I might hook you up on that. My buddy that works at Snap-on said something about that. Different heads. But I still got to get an engine because I locked it up. It's locked up, man. Oh, Scooter. Yeah, let's talk about the rain forecast. Or the, there you go, Mikey. There you go, lifters. The problem is I still have water damage. I believe my truck has a soul. Let me tell you why. So about 2 weeks before Ian, it did it again. It didn't do it the whole month of August. It did it July 7th. I'll never forget. Took it to the dealer. Dealer said, so it didn't do it the whole month of August. And then first part of September, it did it one time. I'm like, crap. And then a week later, it did it again. I'm like, okay, it's fixing to break. That's how things happen. On the way down to Ian with Phil, I swear it did it about 4 or 5 times. It would shudder and shake and, run rough. And then all of a sudden it would kick in. The lifter would unstick probably more than likely. But it got me through the whole storm. Never did it once. And if water did me in, I was in way worse water than I was on River Road. River Road, it was only like 2 or 3 inches of water. I just think the truck had enough. It said, I'm done. You're safe. Interstate's a mile ahead. And it did all she could do. So I did the rain forecast, Marie. Rain forecast down on my site, by the way. You can always look at it right here. Here's your 24-hour rain map. Nothing through tomorrow. Here's your 5-day rain map. Pretty much what I said. Look, South Florida, this is rain chances through the week. We got a lingering front. This is your rain totals through next Wednesday. Very light rain all the way to Okeechobee. So South Florida is really the only folks getting any rain in the next 5 days. That's from a front that backs up. We'll do a shout out to my buddy Jason Sutton, who was down here in Florida. And his whole crew, I met the whole Furman team. They had 2 trailers down here. They did a lot of generator repairs for the folks at Lowe's, so that was fun meeting up with them guys and seeing them. I think Shelly, you're going over to Windstorm Products today, right? I think she's going to do some videos. I wonder if the 12Z thing came out yet. I don't know if it did or not. No, not yet. But yeah, Shelly's going to be doing some videos here in a little bit for some Windstorm products. So that'll be good. Oh, let's see. Windy map. Oh, it's not even updated right yet. This had a new plug-in. I think it's working finally. Anyway, yep. So we got a big BMX bike competition here this weekend, Dave. When is Oktoberfest, by the way, in October here in Upper Tampa Bay? Florida Man 594 over on YouTube. Thank you, bud. River. Oh, we're going to show the rivers. But anyway, if you're in the Brew Crew, watch for Shelly. She'll be at Windstorm Products today. And they do have a special 10% off for our fans. They're big followers of our page. So definitely never fun to think about hurricanes, but it's definitely fun to have the right hardware when you need it. So many of my neighbors found that out when they were trying to board up. But the water levels here in the St. Johns River are still expected to peak on Sunday. Sanford, I believe, on Sunday. Starting to load up here. Let's see here. So here's St. John's near Sanford. It's going to peak today, actually, 8.9. That's above record stage, actually. So St. John's is expected to peak today at 8.9. It'll slowly go down. It's still going to be above record stage all the way through Wednesday. St. John's near DeLand is not expected to peak until Sunday, and that's above record stage, 6.5 feet. So still major flooding there. We have the Astor hanging around 4.5, right below record. Lake Harney is slowly going down, but it's above record. So St. John's is dealing with it. We had the Peace River slowly going down. It was really bad around Arcadia. It was terrible. It was record, huge record stage. Let's see if I can go back in time here. I don't know how that works. I never really looked back. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so anyway, anything else we talk about? Cattle. Oof. Didn't think about cattle drowning. Nothing's coming to Florida. Yep. So, all right. Well. So, hey, Grumpy Woodworker, look at that. Yeah, Grumpy Woodworker, man. My name's Michael. I appreciate it, man. I showed your card. That's nice of you, man, for sending that. Yep, Shelly, we're on the same page. Yeah, so I'll make sure to hang this up, man, and take a picture of it, sir. That was very nice of you. I know it took a lot of time. So my plan one day is to have a little studio, because we'd love to have a little coffee shop or something for Sarah to work at. Julie's 35 years at Publix, so one of these days she's going to want to retire. She's been there 35 years, but I do want to make a little studio, and all these great gifts over the years people have sent, and obviously that's a nice one. I'll take a picture of it. It's so big I couldn't even get it in the camera, man. Well, you're over in Daytona, man. I hope you didn't get any flooding. I got a lot of friends over there in Daytona Beach. Definitely not being talked about enough with the flooding, that's for sure. But yeah, I hang out at the Speedway a lot, hoping to do something special during the Daytona 500, man. We're still working on a car, maybe having a fully wrapped Hurricane car for the Xfinity race. So, Nancy Belize, hey, thank you. You are not so bad over in Belize. This thing might go just south of you. Probably going to get some rain out of it, but, the good news at least, the core is going to be south of you. And it'll bring some rain, probably Monday, Tuesday. So, yeah, happy birthday, Julie. A lot of Mikes. Mike's a cool name. Yeah, we're going to have a party. Don't forget our pre-cruise party. Kim O'Connell, what's going on? Yeah, I know, Dave. I've heard a lot of stories about homes. We had personal friends of ours that were about 2 to 3 foot. They had no idea. This is the GFS kind of coming back at you. See, it's really weird. Some of these models are stopping and coming back. But that's probably more remnants. They're not organized lows, so they're probably just models are picking it up as the remnant low with that frontal line. But yeah, got to go to our cruise. It's all the info's right here. Listen, it's about half the price of what Royal Caribbean's charging right now. We locked in 100 cabins. I paid a down deposit to lock them in until December. The rates have almost doubled since then, so it's an amazing deal. Not only that, you get we have a ton of perks for this week. It's in March, so Floridians, so many schools are out for spring break the week that we're doing our cruise. So think about it. It's ton of fun. All of our families are going. Shelly's family, Phil's family, my family. It's a family cruise. We do stuff at night. Obviously, what stays on the ship stays. What happens on the ship stays. But we're doing a seminar on the ship. We're going to have a professional presentation on hurricane preparedness. You're going to get a certificate from Mike's Weather Page for 2023. It's going to be a legit deal. Happy hour when you get on the board. Like, remember Julie on the Love Boat? So we got our own cruise director. We're going to have a happy hour. We're having a party the Sunday before on land at the hotel that we got set up for everybody coming in from out of town. I want to stay there. So it's amazing. We got some friends here locally going now because of the spring break. A lot of sponsors. ABC last year, Fine Wine Spirits, Coastal Claims, and Furman were big sponsors, and we had swag bags and gifts. And this year we're going to Coco Cay, which is an amazing island in the Bahamas. Kids absolutely love it, but the adults love it too. So anyway, the pre-cruise party, though, that's what brought that up. We're going to do a party on the Sunday before for all of our subscribers to the page. The ones that stick with us through thick and thin. All right. Well, we've been an hour. That's about it. I got to go make some errands. So I hope everybody has a great weekend. More than ever, my thoughts are with all you that are affected by Ian more and more. Seeing this stuff, I will say that I've learned to understand way more what everybody goes through now after a storm, and I am not going to stop talking about it. We went up to Michael last year. I did a lot of videos from Hurricane Michael, Mexico Beach last year. We're talking to the locals. Fine, talking to them. We went to Hurricane Laura up in St. Charles or Lake Charles, and went there after. And I'll be going back down to Florida, guaranteed, here in the weeks ahead to show some progress and more videos, and keep everybody aware of what's happening down south with the recovery. So there you go. What's up, Miss Tammy Harvick? Mike, I hope things are good for you. Thank you, Michelle Bell. Hey, that's a pretty catchy name. Michelle Bell. You better be from the South, because it would be a shame if you weren't from the South. My name's Michelle Bell. I'm from Connecticut. Luann Courtwright. That's a cool name. Scooter Wisdom, that's 100% right. That recovery is no cakewalk, man. John Ferguson, how you been down south, buddy? Hope you're doing well, man. How's the old Caymans? This cold front next week's going to reach you down there, bud, in the Caymans. You're gonna get this cold front, guaranteed. You are, Michelle Bell. Um, yeah, so it's kind of odd, man. These cold fronts are coming in, man, quick. That's a good sign the season's nearing at the end, but unfortunately, October storms are very real, and even early November storms. I'm not scaring anybody. Just don't put your guard down yet and think that things can't happen. You know? And as we saw, things can change. That's why you watch the tropics every day. Right? Right. And the website, big thanks to GoDaddy this season. It stuck through Ian, and that's always huge. So all the work I did in the off season, getting some bigger servers and double CPU dedicated IPs, all that stuff. I mean, obviously a lot of the images is link shared, but the traffic still is there, and it's hung on good. So thank you, Michelle Lewis. Vivid's freezing in Michigan. Are you a snowbird? Or do you come down to Florida? Thank you, Robin Reinhardt. Where the heck is Moultrie, Georgia? Softball tournament. How old's your girl? We got ours. We were supposed to go down south this weekend, and obviously there's no hotel, so they had to cancel the tournament, so we're not playing. But God, it seems like forever since we played softball. Jeez, man. I hope she remembers how to play. Michigan. Home of Kid Rock. Cool beans. All right, well, I'm out of here. Got a lot of stuff to do. So have a great weekend. If anything changes, I'll probably do a YouTube video sometime tomorrow. I do those a lot. Make sure you subscribe over there. Big thanks to our friends at Universal Roof and Contracting. They've been sponsoring my YouTube channel. Big Florida company here doing roofs. So if you got to call somebody for roof repair, please give them a shot. They great people, veteran owned and operated, and they do a lot for Floridians here. Very many years. So make sure you give them a holler. They're big in Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, South. They're big across the whole state. But I do these little upload quickies. Yeah, 5 minutes. So not a lot of action now, but definitely when there was a storm brewing, it was a lot of people were watching. So